Congressman Adam Schiff on a campaign stop in Oakland on Sunday. The Southern California lawmaker is facing off against former Major League Baseball player Steve Garvey in the race to replace the late Senator Dianne Feinstein.
My view is run scared or run unopposed, so I'm running hard.
Schiff held a meet and greet with Asian American leaders at the Oakland Asian Cultural Center Sunday, calling on the Justice Department to combat hate crimes against the Asian community.
That prohibits people from feeling safe to go out of their house.
Garvey has campaigned on border security, crime, and says there's no greater problem in California than the homeless crisis.
It's a big issue for us here in Oakland, but I don't really see many, people talk a lot. I don't really see them doing a whole lot.
Garvey wants to focus on mental health, addiction treatment, and affordable housing. Schiff agrees and wants to expand tax credits to expand affordable housing with a renter's tax credit similar to what homeowners get.
And unless we're building hundreds of thousands of units of housing every year, we're not going to solve this problem.
The Public Policy Institute of California poll from June shows Schiff leading Garvey by a wide margin of 25 points among likely voters.
Because I like the work that he's been doing in Congress, with the impeachment and working for democracy.
And it's those high-profile impeachment hearings that give Schiff an advantage among Democrats, according to KTVU political analyst Brian Sobel.
Garvey's campaign has not matured at all. Steve Garvey, down the stretch, would have to really turn on the afterburners to cut into the Schiff lead.
As one of the first prominent California Democrats to call on President Joe Biden to drop out of the race, Schiff tells us he has not spoken to the president since making last Sunday's historic announcement not to seek a second term. Garvey and Schiff won the top two spots of the March primary and will face off in November. Garvey's campaign could not be reached today for comment. In the newsroom, Joey Horta, KTVU, Fox 2 News.